All right, and we're live. Welcome to In the Queue podcast. Greg, how you doing, man?
Hey, Dave, how are you? Happy Monday, man.
Happy Monday to you. I'm excited. Had a good weekend, and I am excited about our show today. We have like a action-packed, a lot of information to share show today, so we really shouldn't probably waste any time at all, huh?
No. Look, I'm fresh from last week. I'm testing out my new camera here. Or not my new camera, my old camera. I've got all kinds of cameras, and I got a new audio source. So I'll eventually nail down the best one for this show and this platform. But look, yeah, let's tell everybody who we are, what we do, and where they can find us at all times.
Absolutely. Well, you look good and sound good, so you're already moving in the right direction with it, right?
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, so I'll kick it off. My name is David Hanscom, and I've been a DJ for pretty much my entire life, and pretty much all I do. Outside of that, I love to help educate people and provide whatever tips and tricks we can do to help them with their business. I may not always be the guy that helps you with the best DJing stuff, but I can definitely help you with your business. We already got comments coming in here. Andrew says, "Let's go." I'm down with that, Andrew. And by the way, that brings me to another point. Please feel free to leave comments, ask questions, let us know where you're checking in from. We love to interact with you. So if you're watching, don't hesitate to drop some comments and let us know what's going on. As far as connecting with me, you know what? Let me actually just drop this banner for 1 second. So right underneath Greg there, you'll see there is Greg and my social medias. And I definitely encourage you, if you haven't connected with us yet on those social medias, to do that. And then right above Greg, you were doing that so well, Greg, point up. There we go. Right above Greg is the Instagram for In the Queue podcast. And you can also follow us. We hope that you will on YouTube. All right. So that's me, man. Let's hear about you.
All right, DJ Greg EC. I've been a DJ for forever too. Started out in radio, went into mobile DJing, and literally right out of my first few years, got a job with a big, multi-major corporation, and stayed there for about 24 years. And look, things happen. Everything changes. Things change, and I decided, we all decided to go separate ways, especially when that poor company started to go under. And it really was the boost that I needed to take things to the next level. So with that, really what I did with that company was I was an educator. I was a trainer. We had a thing called the Entertainment School. I rebranded it the DJ Entertainment School that you see below David. It's djjeffrush.com. There's a book out there. Now there's going to be a couple books, all kinds of education. And this is what really it fell into my lap with the In the Queue podcast and my relationship with David, because of my association with the National Association of Mobile Entertainers, once again above David's head. One of our,
I get my fingers right here. Eventually, I'll get this right. There we go. There it is, right there.
Yeah, one of our biggest contributors were both more board members, and look, they help sponsor this show, and it's really to help out their members. We blast their members because it's about education, and I've been doing this forever. I will do this forever until the day I die. I won't retire. I know a lot of guys that say, "Oh, I'm done. I'm retiring." Regardless. Okay. God bless you. Good luck, and grow a farm and have a good time. But look, this keeps you young. It keeps you fresh. It keeps you on your toes. So
no, I couldn't agree more with that.
With that being said, I wanted to pass it back on, to David. And yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let me just quickly, I popped it up, but let me definitely make sure and say hello to my good buddy, DJ Natural Aura. I got to say, I really appreciate Natural Aura. He follows us everywhere all the time on all of our shows, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. And hopefully you are getting from our shows what you're looking for. So I think that pretty much covers, all of our stuff. By the way, we do, and Greg, you don't even know this yet because I just started doing it. Okay. All of our live shows are also available via podcast, audio-only podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get podcasts. Just search In the Queue podcast, and you'll be able to listen to that. And typically, what I do is break the show up into smaller chunks so they're easier to digest, and so on and so forth. And there's my buddy Big Earn in the Twitch. Big Earn, again, another one of our amazing, I don't even want to say followers, man. He's part of the family. He's not a follower. He's part of the family, and I love Big Earn to death. So thank you, as always, Big Earn, for your support, buddy.
Yeah. We got Jeff in there. We also got Andrew's part of my school, so I wanted to send a shout out to Andrew. Yeah, so thank you for joining, Andrew, and anybody else in there. Please leave a comment below and say hello. And while I have this chance, really, I know we said it again, but you can find us in 3 different spots. You know, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Live, In the Q Podcast, or simply www.intheqpodcast.com. And now, here's my question to you, David. Will I be able to ask my Alexa device to play In the Q Podcast?
You know what? That's a great question. I haven't tried it. If anybody has an Alexa, just try it out. Just say, "Hey, play In the Q Podcast," and let's see what happens. What the hell?
Alexa, play In the Q Podcast. So anybody that listens to this, that's going to happen. So.
Yeah, maybe it will. Well, I mean, only if it notices your voice, right? I think it has to recognize your voice. I'm not a big familiar with Alexas, believe it or not. So
okay, or you say Google. See, okay, Google, play In the Q Podcast.
Or probably Siri, or any one of those. Yep. All right. Yeah. So once again, guys, who else do we have out there, man? Just drop a comment. Let me know what's going on, you guys. We want to know. Big Earn said his just kicked in. Did that actually work? Andrew, did that work for you too, man? I don't know, man. Now, our people on Facebook will be a little bit delayed, so we might get a response from people in Facebook before we get them on here. Big Earn said it really did. Big Earn, did it play In the Q Podcast, or did it just respond? That's what I'm really curious about, because that's interesting. If it did, that is super cool. Who else is with us tonight? You guys check in, drop a comment, let us know where you are. He said, I tried to turn it down before it played. That is hilarious. I love it. Good stuff.
Goodness. That's great.
All right. Well, enough goofing off here, man. We got to get to work, because we have a very special guest tonight with us, and we're going to be talking about something that I think as DJs, we all like to do, which is edit music. Whether it's creating our own remixes, whether it's maybe editing out, swear words if you're not able to find the clean version, but you need a clean version. So big variety. There's Jeff checking in with us on Twitch. I think Jeff's going to check with us everywhere. I like this. This is super cool. and he's going to be live. Like it's awesome. Like he's virtually with us, and he's going to be live with us at the same time. I think this is so cool. But what about you, Greg? Talk about remixing a little bit, man. Where are you at with that? I mean, I dabble in it a little bit, but
yeah. Look, I mean, this is one thing that I have a lot of DJs that I network with, and one of the things besides creating music, I think really break it down into 2 things. There's editing music or editing songs, and then creating music. So editing a song would be like taking a song that doesn't have any edits in it, and it has 3 or 4 bad words in it. You hear the F word, and you got to get it out before, or you got to play it next week. So you bring it into a software, you take that curse word, you reverse it, or you cut it out, and boom, you've edited your first song. So I recommend, there's a certain software out there. It's free. It's called Audacity, AUDACITY. Very clean, crisp, to the point. I mean, the old heads, the old school people out there, or the OGs, probably Greg makes some amazing mixes. Thanks there, Mark.
Yeah, that's our buddy Mark that's also on the board with us.
Yeah, and hello to Mark. Mark's another board member of the National Association of Mobile Entertainers. But yeah, Audacity will be able to do a lot of different things, but really just starting off with editing music, you would use Audacity. We take it to the next step, then we'll talk about creating music, and then there's software like Ableton, Logic. Even Serato has a creation software that they have out now.
Yeah,
Pro Tools
Studio, right?
Yeah, Pro Tools is another one that was big out there. Reason, I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. But when you start out, and one of the reasons why we're going to have our guest is to ask him about all of this, because our guest tonight really learned, and I said he would be great to have on the show because he learned Ableton, the first software package that I was talking about during the coronavirus. He said, what a perfect time when I'm going to be locked down to start learning, something different. And that's
What's
really
up,
what he did.
Thanks for joining us, Gabe.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Gabe. Another, and I hate to call him a follower. He's part of the family too. We're eventually going to be having Gabe join us here on one of the shows as a guest, but he's part of the school and part of Current Entertainment as well. So thanks for coming in.
Greg, we clearly are making some noise because my phone is blowing up with messages and texts, and I'm trying to do these and monitor the chat and listen to you all at the same time. This is good stuff.
Speaking of making noise, and I'll drop it now. In Philadelphia, there is the WPHL 17. It's one of our VHF, as we would say, news channels. But I'm going to be National DJ Day is Wednesday, and Wednesday is the the 20th of January, and they called me up, and their morning news team wants to do an expose on current entertainment and the DJ entertainment school. I'm going to teach one of their anchors. I think it's Kyrie Stewart. I'm going to teach him how to DJ live on the morning news. There's going to be 3 different segments: 6:30, 7:30, and I think 8:30 or 8:45. Where really they're just going to cut to me and say, "Hey, it's National DJ Day." And Kyrie is with Greggy C from the DJ Entertainment School, and he's going to teach him the basics on how to DJ.
Love it. Yeah, so real quickly too, Greg, I'm gonna go through these real quick because I just noticed on our Facebook page, and this might be because you left it, or I don't know where these are coming in. I think they're coming in on our Facebook page, but they're not showing up here. So I want to make sure we say hi to Andrew checking in. Thank you, Andrew. Kathleen, Timothy checking in, Chris checking in, and those are repeats. And then Christopher Rodriguez, appreciate you checking in with us. Andrew. And then we already had Timothy, I think, and Paul. Just want to make sure I say hi to all those guys. Thank y'all for checking in because it's not showing up on this end.
That's okay.
But it is on Facebook.
Look, so I want to show love, and I want to make mention, too, to another organization. It's the little head right below David with the blue tie. And it's the blue tie, the red tie, the gold tie, the black tie. It's called the Senate DJs, www.senatedjs.com. A very professional organization. And if I'm not mistaken, Chris is part of our crew and one of the brotherhood. He's part of the movement here, and it's about making yourself better. So that's just one of them. Now, Paul, that you mentioned, Paul is the East Coast Director of Sales for PV Electronics. They are one of my main sponsors besides the National Association of Mobile Entertainers in name. So you'll be hearing me talking time to time about PV gear and how I've been using it since I've literally started DJing. So
absolutely,
yeah. So go ahead. What did we miss?
I think that's everything. I think I covered everybody. I just feel bad when I see people checking in because this is you know what I mean? Like this is a conversation with our audience just as much as it is with each other. Yep. So if we don't see your comment, it's not that we're ignoring you, I promise you, but I'm monitoring one of the chats on my phone. I'm monitoring another chat here in the live feed that we're in. So if you guys have questions, if you have comments, please drop those. I am monitoring all of them, and we'll make sure we get to you guys. Yeah,
and you know what? And that's the beautiful thing, too. And I thank everybody for doing it because the next thing you can do by helping us out is really hitting the share button. Besides hitting the like button, besides writing comments, even if it's a hello and a check-in or a shout-out, whether it's live or whether you're watching this on the repeat, please like the channel, like the show itself, like the actual page, make a comment. That is so important with this. But really want to help us out, hit that share button. Share it either on your page or share it to a group that you follow that's pertinent to entertainment, DJs.
And the only thing I'd add to that is to definitely please, follow our YouTube channel. If you're not on our YouTube channel, please follow that. We're trying to push that right now. We're trying to get, obviously get the word out as much as possible. So if you guys are not following our YouTube channel, we don't quite have enough followers yet to be able to have our own name of our channel. So you'll just have to search In the Queue podcast, but it's there. I promise you'll find it. And as soon as we do have enough followers, we will definitely change that to make it easier. But in the meantime, if you just search In the Queue podcast on YouTube, you'll find us. I promise.
Yeah, hit that red subscribe button. That's really important on YouTube.
Absolutely.
I think you should actually, if you have it set up, you will get text to your phone.
Yes.
If you have it set up, which is a really cool thing. And it's important, if you want to check out the latest episode or say, "Ooh, I want to watch it from my phone while I'm driving or doing whatever." It's something great. You don't have to watch the screen. It's not a lot of visuals. It's just a lot of information we're going to try and give you.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to try to do our best to make sure that we, that we provide as much audio for you to listen to. Occasionally, like tonight's a prime example where our guests will have some visuals for you guys to take a look and follow along with. But for the most part, you'll be able to follow along in the audio. So if you're listening in your car or wherever you might be. So, all right, man, I think that's all of our announcements, right?
That's it. Yeah, let's get to it. I mean, let's
Can we
dive
get
right
Jeff
in.
on with us, man? I've been excited to get Jeff on here with
Yeah.
us. So
He's in the green room. Let's
why don't you? I'm gonna let you do kind of an introduction on Jeff, because
All
I
right.
think you'll do it a lot better than I will, and then we'll bring him in.
All right. Oh, look, I always introduce Jeff as one of the top 5 vocal trance DJs on the East Coast. I mean, this guy has got some hot stuff. He's got a podcast, and us OGs call it a mixtape, but nowadays it's a podcast, or it's a streaming show that's constantly online. It's on Mixcloud. It's called Dreamland, and he'll talk a little bit about that. He just got picked up because he also creates music, and he's creating it on Ableton. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him in is because with all of this being happened, not only he, but another one of my good friends, they both got picked up, and they're both on the same label. Another Senate DJs. How are you, Andrew? Good to see DJ Philly 1 in the house. So
I'm trying not to distract you with these things,
okay.
but
Look,
I know with your personality, you're like, squirrel. What's that? Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. What's that? Hey, DJ Philly 1 in the house. Back to what I was saying. But Jeff wants it, like I said, one of the top 5 vocal trance DJs, and you got to break it down that way. And one day we'll do a show with all these different genres of music there are. But
here comes another one.
Said, look, he's going to show you all about how it happened for him, how he created music, and break it down for the people that want to just try this now. And it's not really a big investment, or at least I'm going to push at him to say, hey, man, how about if you're a guy like me who's broke? What can I do, and how do I do this now if I have a computer, and, show me this stuff. So, he's also, we bought him in. He impressed the people at PV Electronics. So one of the main guys there, bought him in last year, and he spun at Eden Lounge right before we had Keith Shockley from Public Enemy up there, and Grand Wizard Theodore. If you look him up, he's the first gentleman to scratch, as you find on Wikipedia. So he preceded those two gentlemen at our PV show last year at the International DJ Expo in Atlantic City. Now, speaking of that, and not to change gears, but NAMM is this week, and it's a free event for everybody. NAMM, NAMM, foundation.org. Go there. They have shows all day long. So, done. Finished. There's Jeff's introduction, and everybody go to NAMM later tomorrow.
Boom, let's get him in here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jeff, what's up, man?
How are you? Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good. How are you?
You are live and ready.
Okay, and you can hear me, right? Everything's
very well, loud and clear.
Awesome. All right. So,
first, Jeff, tell us who you are in your own words. Tell us who you are and what you do right now.
Okay, right now, I make music in my house because there's nowhere to play.
Okay.
But, yeah, I've been a DJ since 1976. I started DJing the high school things, and just one thing led to another, and I went right from high school right to clubs. I skipped all the weddings and the whole thing and went right into I was one of the youngest guys in Philly spinning in the clubs.
Okay.
So I guess because I have a mustache, they let me in. I don't know. So I did that on and off for years, and then got out of it for a while, got back into it, started doing these internet shows in like the 90s when there was real audio, on and off. And then I got picked up by the network that WDRE used to run on, WLIR out of, so I was doing that for a little while. Then I retired, and I got back into it. So here I am, and was doing the Chickies and Pete's things for a few years. I was doing live shows. Let me show you. So I was playing, like, I opened for Cosmic Gate and Marcus Schulz, and so this is my little studio right here.
All those monitors.
And then this is the other deck. So when I have to do like a club, I have to practice and rehearse on here. And then I take my mixes on this thing on a, USB stick. And that's it. So, all right. What else are you going to ask? You want to ask how I got started in music? Is that? I'm not good at these things, so you're going to have to chide me along here.
No, that's okay. I'm a little seasick from the camera there, but other than that, I think we're in good.
I think I froze.
Yeah. All right. So The first software that I ever used, it was called Acid. Do you know about that?
I remember that one. Yeah.
Okay. So when I did Marcus Schulz, I put this. I did a lot of my own tracks, and then I took a Cruella song and put it with a trance beat. So this is what became.
Let's make this moment last forever. So tell me what you
Then it gets. So I guess you recognize that. Feel Alive?
Yeah.
So that was part of the show. And all of the songs I did in that first show at Noda was my first trance show in Philly. All of the songs were some type of a remix, redo, mostly in Acid. I did a couple of things where I edited in like SoundForge, which is like Audacity, basically. Mm-hmm. But most of the stuff was done in this Acid Pro. And then I tried to expand on it, and like the plugins weren't working. I couldn't get any of the VSTs to work on it because it was such an old version. So that's what somebody suggested, Fruity Loops. So I downloaded that, and I couldn't get the gist of that. I was able to make beats in it. If you're going to make beats, I think Fruity Loops is like one of the best things to use because you can set your drums up on a grid pattern. And all of the different pieces and all the different drum samples, it's awesome. But if you're going to produce music live, I think Ableton is the way to go. And do you want me to share the screen here?
Yeah. We'll just pull the screen up, and that'll probably make it easier. There we go.
Okay. So this is a song that I was working on today. Can you hear it?
Yes, sir.
So it's just like kind of a housey, chill thing. So this is like tropical house. It's like a Ibiza tropical house kind of thing. So this record is pretty much complete. Now in February 14th, I'm going to bring up another track. This song is going to be released on Kit2 Records, which is Jimmy Jam's on there, and so that's going to be released on here. Hold on, save changes now. All right, just give me a second here.
Is that your new label, Kit2 Records, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm on 2 different labels, but there's more releases coming out on Kit2 than anything else.
Okay.
Hey, I got a veto to you two guys for this question from Gabriel. He says FL Studios is still being used. I honestly don't know what that means to either one of y'all.
Fruity Loops.
A lot of guys are still. A lot of guys are still using it, and like I said, it is like a really good. If you're making beats and your own custom drum patterns, it's fantastic for that. Not so much in Ableton. You got to use, you got to play everything.
I honestly think it's kind of funny, and I just wonder if it's, just the funny gods out there using the terms for these things like acid and Fruity Loops. Just seems funny to me that those are the names of these things.
So this is the, trying to find where the vocal is. Here it is. All right, so this is the new track. Try to get it into where she sings. Here we go. Can you hear it?
Yes, sir.
Let me skip in a little bit. So I don't want to spoil it. So that's coming out. That's coming out in February 14th, just in time for Valentine's Day. The vocalist is Victoria. She's a very popular trance artist and singer. So I credited her on this track. But in essence, all of the tracks that are coming out, there's 4 more different tracks. There are some of her vocal samples on them. So I got a lot of mileage out of that.
Greg, looks like Greg, we're having a little trouble with his camera, so we'll try to get that fixed. In the meantime, when we do there,
Hear me probably.
if you guys in the audience, if you have questions, if you have things that you want to ask Jeff about, specifically about either the track or the process, Jeff, I mean, is it possible? And I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, so if not, that's okay. Is it possible to kind of just let's say that I'm somebody who has absolutely no clue how to use this at all? Is it possible for you to just do like a from scratch, a little bit of the process, if you will, of how this all comes together?
Okay, yeah. Let me bring up something that's like an undeveloped project, because as a music creator, you get these ideas, you put it down, and then you don't do anything with it.
Right.
I have quite a few of those.
I think for anybody who has not used the product yet or is not experienced with the product, I think would get some value out of just kind of seeing how that process goes, where you've got a blank canvas, or at least you have a canvas that doesn't really have much going on, and then it kind of evolves from that standpoint.
Yeah. Let me bring this up because there's not a lot on here. So let me try to get it all onto the one screen.
Oh, Greg made it back. There he is.
Yeah, Nettie, we got the audio too?
Yeah, we're good. We got you, bud.
Yeah, different camera, whatever.
Okay, so this is what Ableton looks like. You got the whole thing here, I think.
Yes, sir.
Wait, it's kind of scritching off onto the other screen. There we go. All right, so this is a track this is how an idea of a track starts. There's only a minute of stuff here. So let me start it here. Let me show you. There's your beat. And then your tops are going to come in. Then we have our clap thing. So I like the way the clap sounded. So I did a lot of editing on the clap so I could get that extra second clap in there. Okay. You can see, like over here, see how there's so many pieces of it?
Right. Yeah. You're blowing. Now what you're doing is, and just let me help for everybody out that's watching that's unfamiliar with this, you're actually blowing up that screen that we're watching, correct? You're zooming in and you're zooming out. Because right at that point, right where you're at, if you don't move anymore, each of those little blocks should represent 4 beats in one measure. Is that correct?
Right. It depends on how I move it in, but yeah.
Depends on how you move it in.
Yes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
7, 8. So each line there is 8. 5,
yeah.
6, 7, 8. Now, if you notice, every 16 something happens. So in the first 16, what did you just drop in? What's that light pink one?
That's the top. So I'll isolate that.
Right.
And then you can just hear. That's what that is.
Okay. And then 16 more come your claps. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what I'm seeing is a pattern, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I mean, I'm not a music maker that deep. I know the basics, but the one thing I do know is, especially in trance and house, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, that every 16 beats, something is happening in the song.
Right. Okay. So here's a good thing. This is a build that I stuck in because I want to just what I'm doing here because I'm constructing this song. So I'm just getting all of my ideas down and I'm putting in the elements that I think I want, but nothing is arranged yet because the song's only a minute long. So here's a build. So there's that dirty bass down here.
Yeah.
You know, and then that works. This is another tops that I threw in. So you have this one, and you have that one. See, there's different, and they work together, kind of. So you get them to.
Can you identify those kind of by the colors? Only because we can't necessarily see your mouse. Can you just identify by the colors whenever you're describing them, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So you can't see them. Okay. So this is the secondary tops. Can you see when I change the color of it?
I do now. Yeah.
This is the regular tops that come in, the heavy tops, and then these are more like fills kind of thing. This is just a dirty bass line. So I woke up with this idea in my head, and I had to get it down. So here's another.
Here's my question, Jeff. Did you make that on a keyboard, that dirty bass, and that also that orange track at the top? Did you make those?
Yeah, so this is a synthesizer
Okay.
called, oh, hold on. I did it wrong. Hold on.
I saw a keyboard on your desk. Did you utilize it by using
Yeah,
that?
that's what I had to use. So this, I don't know if you can see this.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the synthesizer that is used. It's a software synthesizer.
Is that a plug-in, Jeff?
Yes, this is a VST plugin.
Thank you. That is a VS. So people doing this is one of the things that they would download. They would download a VST plugin as part of Ableton to actually do what we're doing right here, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So you can see how this is moving as it's playing. And I can change the parameters. And so anything I do here, so there's no effects on any of these channels because, like I said, it's a basic idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really done anything. But if I want to take like this, so I could take this and then I can make more of them. And then this I think I can just pull out. So I can actually just make the song bigger. Yeah, some of these things are samples and some of them are like MIDI sequences.
Now, Jeff, what you're doing to each of those tracks that's highlighted, you're taking the end of it and you're dragging it with your mouth to follow the end of the other ones, correct?
Right. So
Okay.
so these things, it says trance tops.
Mm-hmm.
The way the loop is constructed, I can just drag it out and do that. But this particular one, I cannot do that because it's a small sample. So I have to copy and paste. But Ableton has this duplicate feature, so it's easy to hit two keys. And then this thing, I can just do the same thing. I copy it, and then I dupe. There it is.
We were discussing Ableton, or we were discussing Audacity. Does Ableton have something similar to Audacity inside of it? Say I wanted to chop a piece, like you said, I would bring in a sample. It's not a loop, but I wanted to make a loop out of that sample so that every 8 beats that thing would be loop again. Is there something inside of Ableton that you can use to do that?
Yeah, there's a way to do that. So this big room build that I did, I constructed that, and I kept chopping the drum like in half and going half. And then I said, well, if I send this to somebody, they're not going to be able to reconstruct it properly. So what I did is I combined it as a single sample. So you can kind of do stuff like that. So I'll show you. If I copy this, for example, and then I paste it. So let's say I want to make this longer, right? I do this thing called consolidate. And then it makes one file out of it. So let's see how it just made one big file out of that?
Oh, I see.
And then I can move it around. So let's say I have like a whole bunch of different vocal pieces that I want to put together.
Yep.
And then I like the way that sequence sounds. I can highlight all of those pieces on the timeline, consolidate them, and now they're one single wave file, and I can plop that down anywhere in the song that I want to.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Now, we lost David for some reason, but the show will go on. Here's my question for you.
I'm still here. I just had to step away for a second. I'm still here.
All right.
Okay.
Question, Jeff. For everybody out there, Andrew, one of my school students, he creates music. He's out there creating music, and I know a lot of people are interested in creating music. Where can they start from the ground up right now? If they wanted to try out Ableton, can they go to their website and just download a trial?
There is a trial version.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
What do you recommend?
I like the trial version. Also, if you get this thing, here, let me show you. This is how I started. You get one of these things,
Okay.
and it comes with an Ableton 9 version with a lot of instruments and things. So you can start with that, and that thing is about $120.
I have the Novation Launchpad. It's very simple. It looks like a big sampler. It has a bunch of dots on there, but I think that came with the light version. But really, if I'm not mistaken, that light version was enough for me to play around and start making music, correct?
Exactly.
So that free version that's online, the one that comes with it?
Yeah, so anything that you buy that has Ableton in it, like a light version or an older version. Yeah. So this had an older version, Ableton 9. Then I got an artist's evaluation copy of Ableton 10 Live, the full studio.
Mhm.
But I couldn't update it, and I couldn't add, like, some of the plugins weren't workable. But it worked. It was enough to create a couple of songs.
Okay.
And then I finally went and bought it.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing. You can buy it and break it up into like 6 payments. Like Sweetwater will do that for you.
Okay.
They'll let you buy it and break it up in 6 payments, which is kind of a cool thing.
Shout out to Sweetwater for doing that. Yeah, they do that with a lot. Not only just software, they do that with DJ equipment, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, they do that. So that's a good place to go.
Okay.
I'm trying
How
to.
about maybe an interesting, like a MIDI controller or something simple? Like I have the old, I think it's an Oxygen, small little keyboard.
Okay, I know what that is. Yeah,
You recommend anything? I mean, I don't know what you had. It looked like you might have had a bigger one.
this one I got here. Let me bring it up. This I got at a thrift store on Street Road.
Best place to get audio equipment.
Yeah, see this thing? It's the
Oh,
key.
and audio.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I wanted.
So it's 1, 2. It's 4 octaves, which is cool. 4 octaves is good. I think
Right.
I paid $80 for this thing.
Okay.
And what's funny is a lot of the guys that do trance out of their house that make this music.
Yep.
I noticed they all have some version of this keyboard. They either have the silver one or the black one. They all have the same one, and they all have the same knob missing. See this knob here? It's all missing. Everybody has the knob missing. I only saw one guy with the knob.
Stop. Hold on. I'm gonna go get mine.
That's hilarious. Maybe Greg have a knob missing as well. Hey, while Greg goes and does that, those of you guys that are watching right now, if you have questions for Jeff, if you have questions about anything that we're talking about tonight, please drop those in the comments. We want this to be helpful. We want this to be interactive. So if you guys have questions, Jeff is here to help here to answer those questions for you.
Okay. Oh, this is an interesting. I want to show you this. This is an interesting project. I came up with this project. It was a minute and a minute and a half song, and I said it needs a guy to play the piano. So I had a friend of mine come over, and I had him just jam away on this for 20 minutes, and he just jammed away on the piano. Here, let me see. It gets really good around here. So I'm going to have to edit all this, but you know if you can hear that. So that's pretty much it. Here we go. So it's just 20 minutes of him jamming away, improvising on a piano. Now, that's cool and all, but when I went back to try to edit it, there's so much stuff. It's like, I don't know where to start. So now I have to figure out which parts are good and which parts are bad. You can see there's it literally goes on for 20 minutes. But that's the kind of stuff you can do. You can make up a song and then have somebody who really can play, like jam out on a piano or something, come in and you can record just his one track here. And then you could just play and let it run. You can have somebody sing. You can plug in a mic and have somebody sing and just record them on one track as an audio track, and then it'll be synchronized automatically because you're recording right into the software. So these are the things you can do in Ableton.
Here's that little mini one. Same thing, but it's M Audio is the brand because they made a lot of different little MIDI. They had an X Session Pro was another one, I think, that was a small mixer.
I see your knob is still there, though.
Yeah, this one right here, or this one right here, right?
Yeah, the slider, you still have it.
You might have to just break that knob off there, Greg, so you can be a part of the no knob crew.
You know the one thing that goes bad, and you know what? It's. I always tell people if you have that USB connector on the back, what is it? That it looks like a little Snoopy house or whatever.
Yeah.
Always be careful because and if I go in there, I might have to solder that back on because now that moves from sticking out because it's such a long piece and it's so portable. this is starting to give way now.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. But what did this last? 15 years ago it was Snoopy House. 15 years ago.
M Audio makes nice stuff.
Yeah, they make great stuff, and it was a tank. But yeah, it's actually it's a USB 1.0 cord, if I'm not mistaken. That's what you would classify that as.
Right.
Okay. You're the tech guy. What else, Jeff? What other things? Where can everybody that wants to listen to all of your music that you have created, where can they go to hear that?
I don't have a lot of stuff online. I don't have a SoundCloud, only because everything that I've done, I've actually done 4 records between December and like today.
Okay.
So everything is like under contract, so I can't really like put it out there yet. But if they want to listen to the podcast, I'm on Apple Podcasts. They can look for Dreamland Trance on Apple and Google Podcasts.
That is exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted to find out where they can hear your mixes just as well. Not just your music is coming then. So coming more Jeff Rush, they'll be able to find your music and buy it. Buy it on Beatport, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, Beatport and anywhere they sell Apple Music or whatever.
Okay. So we can stay tuned to your tunes that are coming there. But to listen to your podcasts and your mixes, it's Dreamland. It's called
Dreamland Trance. Yes,
and you can just Google that, and that'll be you'll find that where again, please.
It's on Mixcloud and it's on Apple and Google Podcasts.
Okay.
But it airs live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m.
Okay.
On One Mix Radio out of the UK. So if you just Google One Mix Radio, you'll find it.
Okay. Any other radio stations that you're on?
That's it. Just that one. Yeah.
All right.
Greg, I think it's kind of an interesting question. This comes up a lot. Gabriel says, have you DJs had any success on Mixcloud? Those of you guys that are watching, if you have any comments on that, we'd love to hear from your experience with Mixcloud, Greg, or Jeff. Anything you guys have on that? I don't really use Mixcloud other than to upload podcasts, so I'm not really worth answering that.
SoundCloud, they stopped. Like all of a sudden, one time I was uploading music to SoundCloud, and they said, "Oh, you can't use this. This is copyrighted material." Whereas Mixcloud, they don't do that. But Mixcloud also seems to allow you to upload as much as you want, whereas Podomatic and or SoundCloud gave me issues with copyrights, and Podomatic has a limit. Right. So with that being said, Jeff?
Mixcloud is a good platform if you're willing to do a lot of promoting. You can get a lot of followers. But again, there's a lot of promotion involved. It's just like any social media. But they let you put anything you want. They would like you to put the titles of the songs in and then like put the breaks in where the breaks are in the mix, because what they do they directly link each song to a buy link so you can buy it, and I think that's part of their licensing situation.
Okay. All right.
I think it goes to Juno Upload or something like that. Juno Sound. It's one of those European sites. So if you upload your mix and do the track breaks and put the right tags in, you'll notice that there's a whole Juno page with your entire mix with all of the songs in order.
All right.
And then you can purchase each one of them.
All right. Excellent. Great.
Yeah.
And now, how about one last question before you could tell us or get that ready. I want to know where you DJ now. Do you DJ anywhere now during coronavirus, or did you?
No, all I'm doing is creating music and doing the podcast every week, the show every week.
No plans for if and when this all opens up. Are you going to grab a residency somewhere?
I don't know. I like the fact that I'm doing the podcast, it's not necessarily a podcast. It's actually a live show, and then it becomes a podcast.
Sure.
I do the show every week, and then I create music.
Okay.
And I like that dynamic right now. So in case, let's say, somebody wants me to do a show somewhere,
right?
My music, I can do that, and I'm not obligated to a regular spot. So right now, I don't think I'm ready for another resident thing for a while.
Okay.
So I got a quick question, Greg, if you don't mind me jumping in here. And Jeff,
please.
this is for you and maybe to help people that are watching or maybe watch the replay. as far as the financial aspect of that, being able to get paid for that, for somebody that maybe is not known yet, like what advice could you give them to put themselves in a position to, to be able to generate some revenue in doing that?
Well, one thing I learned after doing this for a long time is do it because you enjoy it. Don't do it. Don't go into it saying, I want to make money this week. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, get a residency in a place that you really enjoy playing at. Don't play in a place that you're like, man, I can't believe I got to go into this place every week, but at least they're paying me. Like, that's really totally the wrong attitude. Find a place that you really enjoy playing, that you like the crowd, and they like you, hopefully. And that is how you become successful, because you're getting into it, your attitude shows, and people are willing to come to pay you to do that because you're coming across better.
Okay. Now, Jeff, how do you take that aspect? Now that's DJing wise. How do you take that? Now, how do you get your music? How do you make money off of making music?
It's very difficult. You have to have a lot of connections. Because I know so many trance artists, and they send me stuff every week for the show. I started to get friendly. I got somebody to do, the vocals, and I got other people to send me music for the show. So it all kind of works out, and you promote each other. In this particular music genre, everybody is very helpful to each other because, we're all trying to make it. And we got to face each other at festivals, so we can't be assholes to each other.
It's a small, tight little in the vocal trance aspect of it is what you're saying.
Well, any trance. Like, a lot of people are like, trance people also do techno, and they do house, and they do deep house. Like Victoria, she's a huge trance artist. She's been on a State of Trance show like at least a dozen times, and she does a lot of ambient kind of stuff and down tempo stuff on her own, which is quite excellent. So, we're very versatile. We do whatever music comes into our heads, I guess.
Okay.
Here's the thing, because sometimes people might get confused and bundle it all into one type, like house music, for example. But you mentioned trance, you mentioned tropical house. Can you give just kind of a layman's terms of? I know there's like hundreds of them, but like some of the main ones. How would somebody differentiate between those?
So deep house is the mellow stuff. If you just go on YouTube and Google deep house mix, you'll see all kinds of great stuff. Then there's like the Ibiza type house, which is very different, and there's a lot of those mixes on YouTube. There's the Ibiza type. You can almost feel like you're on the beach when you listen to this stuff. It's very mellow. You can tell it's sun influence. It's great. Then there's the regular house music. A lot of guys it's called house music because guys are making it in their house, literally. And then trance, there's hard trance, there's side trance, vocal trance, uplifting trance. So typically my show is the uplifting and the vocal together, and they work very well together.
Nice.
Okay. Fabulous.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
What advice would you give, say my student Andrew, all right? Andrew, as a matter of fact, shout out to Andrew. He has a little company called Andrew's Beats where he wants to make beats for people, and he wants to capitalize making music, and he's a young boy. I mean, shout out to all my students and all the young boys out there trying to, to get in there and be like Jeff and become Jeff when they grow up. But what advice do you give a guy like that? Like you said, talk to people in the industry. So should I tell him maybe to go on Facebook, join these Facebook groups that are focusing on exactly what he wants? Because nowadays, unless you go somewhere and hang out and meet these people, this is probably the best way to start meeting these people, following them on social media.
Pick the genres that you're comfortable with, and then try to friend those artists on Facebook and Instagram, and just network a little bit. Don't be up their ass or anything. Just like every once in a while, you drop a compliment, that kind of thing. And then you just try to network and talk, and you get friendly with these people, and that's how it works. And I just happened to do this show, and then people started getting wind of it. So like one artist or two artists sent me things here and there. Now I get so many in the email, I can't get them all into the show.
Okay.
So, it works out.
look, kindness goes. What you're saying is kindness goes a long way when you're trying to learn this and deal with it, and especially when you're dealing with other DJs and other artists. Good karma. You put good stuff out into the universe. Good stuff will come back at you. It's one of the things I teach at the school. You know, do great unto others. Don't do great unto you.
Just be humble and you know, have an open heart and open mind at whatever, you know. Somebody, you know, I've always believed in the theory that if I want to get somewhere, let me find somebody who's already there and let me humble myself to listen to what they have to say.
Right.
And just never think I'm too, you know, like I know it all already.
Right, and copy the big boys. Do what they're doing. You know, see how their studios are set up. Do, you know, see what they do. Look at their equipment. A lot of times, the guys that are famous, you could Google what their studio is online, and some company that's sponsoring them will give you a whole rundown of everything that's in their studio.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
So
any other questions? Anybody have any questions for Jeff while we, you know, while we seem to be wrapping it down? We got about 10 minutes to go, but now's the time, really, I guess, to ask Jeff questions. If you're, you know, you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, or YouTube, and you want to ask Jeff some questions, or Andrew, if you got anything that you want to shoot out. I know, you know, Andrew's always looking for some stuff about, you know, making music. But the other thing is too, Jeff is affiliated with the school. And you know, those that want to learn the advanced music creation, Jeff will do that. So you know, you can contact us at the DJ Entertainment School if you want to learn how to do some stuff like that.
Man, I thought I had a lot of monitors. Now I gotta catch up with Jeff. Now I've got 3. How many do you have over there? Like,
well, this is a completely different computer. So
right.
this is just like, this manages my music.
Yeah.
And I do like my word processing and stuff on that. And these 3 are my Ableton machine. And this machine is actually used. I got it from a job that I was working on, and the company went out of business, so there was nowhere to return the equipment to. It's actually a dual Xeon server. So I just converted it to an Ableton workstation. It's amazing for that.
Nice. Jeff, Vince is asking you, Jeff, where did you get your hats?
What hats?
Oh, all the hats? Yeah. I was in Vermont. I have a PV hat, but I don't want to mess it up.
PV hat.
Yeah,
I'm the same way, man. I get a hat like that, I don't want to mess it up because I'm known to sweat the hell out of my hats sometimes.
Exactly. That's why I didn't want to mess it up.
Hey, Greg, let's because I know on Facebook sometimes it's a little bit of a delay in everything. So just one more time, guys, before we go, we got about 7 or 8 minutes here. If you have questions for Jeff or any one of us, please put those in the comments. If you have any comments for Jeff, if you just want to tell him you love him and you think he's great for what he did for us tonight, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. And in the meantime, Greg, while we let that kind of catch up with people, can you just share a little bit more about NAMM and why people might want to, you know, take advantage of this NAMM virtual show this week?
Oh, totally. Yeah, look, NAMM, the National Association of Music Marketers, is a really, really large West Coast show, and it's made for music makers, DJs, anybody within the music industry. And really what it's there for and why it's virtual is obviously because of the coronavirus. But it's out there and it's for free so that everybody can learn. It's a learning and educational thing. So there'll be seminars. So whether you want to learn and you sign up, namfoundation.org. But if you want to learn a little bit about Ableton, you want to learn a little bit about your favorite software, whether it's DJ software, music software, you want to learn about a certain company, maybe Yamaha, they make Yamaha keyboards or you know, whatever it may be. You want to learn about Pearl drums. There's going to be seminars and things all this entire week. And there's a lot going on. When I say hundreds, if not thousands of different seminars and things to see, and these are all streaming. I haven't seen much that was saved, but once again, if you do the investigation, it's Believe in Music, and it's namfoundation.org. Check it out. You know, I sent a whole bunch of people there. I was there today. I have a lot going on this week, especially with being, you know, on live TV on Wednesday. I was doing some work for NAMM, but that got changed. So now I think tomorrow I can attend a bunch of NAMM. Just to, you know, see what I'm missing out at. It's funner to be there live, But they got so much going on. I think it has something to offer everybody. And if it's for free, it's just something that you should check out to see maybe what day that you could check out these live seminars. And who knows, you might talk to a famous artist, whether they be a guitar player, music creator, whatever they may be, singer, keyboardist, you name it. They're out there. And they all go to NAMM. So
one more thing before we end. If anybody has questions, I stuck my email on the screen there. If anybody has any questions about using Ableton or resources, there's a whole video series, which is how I basically learned how to use Ableton.
Here's a question from my phone for you, Jeff, and I don't know why they put it in the room, but where do you make your beats? Is it through Ableton?
I do it all in Ableton. Sometimes if I want to get something complex, I'll bring up Fruity Loops, which is on this machine, FL Studio, because it's a better beat making system.
Okay.
And then I'll turn it into an audio file and then bring it over into Ableton.
Okay. The follow-up question to that, is there a plugin, a VST plugin for a drum machine or any type of beat maker in Ableton?
Ableton has a lot of drum kits.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of drum sample kits you can download off of the internet. There's a Black Octopus Audio is huge with that stuff. They have all kinds of stuff. Unisom is good. God, there's so many of them.
You know what? He fired another question. Are all these different plugins, are they paid or are they free, or do you have to pay for them?
Some are paid, some are free. Yeah.
Some are free. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg. A few people had a question about, or it looks like we had a question about the registering for the NAMM experience. And so here you go, guys. This is that right here. Attend.believeinmusic.tv/register. I'll leave that up for just a second. While I do, so people can copy that down. Andrew asked Jeff, what is your main instrument like for the drums?
Believe it or not, I play everything on the keyboard. So when I bring a drum kit into Ableton, each drum is on a different key. So I just have to figure out where that is. And that's why it's a little difficult. And I think in Fruity Loops, all of your drums are laid out in a grid. And then you can just, in a timing, it's almost like Excel where you block, there's different blocks, and you can hit your bongo at a certain point, your kick drum at a certain point. So it's a whole lot nicer to make beats in FL Studio. And you can get a pretty low-cost version for $100.
Okay, excellent.
I think he liked that answer.
Yeah, it's a really good software for, and if you want to use it to create all of your music, it's fine too, because some of the trance artists are using FL Studio for everything.
Yeah, and Andrew, take a look at the I think it's called the Launchpad. There's a few different versions of them. That is really cool if you want to utilize that as a drum machine. It's almost like there you go. Yeah, it's like see that sampler there? The Launchpad is take away all those the dials and the sliders, and it's a lot of buttons. Really, it's all it is buttons. And it's so that you can fire off samples, or if you wanted to do your drumming machine, or you can really utilize it as a mixer and a keyboard. Really, there's a million things you can do with it.
This particular one is designed for Ableton.
Nice. It's an APC. What is that? 40i, Jeff?
40. It's a APC 40 Mark II.
Mark II.
And it comes with Ableton Live 9, and you can DJ with it. And if you are interested in DJing with it, I have a template for you, a DJ template that I will send to you.
Ooh.
Okay.
If you email me. So
all I got to do is email you. All
right.
It's
starting out.
Send it to me because I want it, please.
there's the email address again for everybody who might want to reach out to Jeff for further questions and to get that template. Thank you for offering that, Jeff. That's very kind of you.
Very good, Jeff. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Well, I think this has been great. I think it's awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We hope you guys we're able to learn from Jeff. I know that that I definitely learned something in my novice music mixing and remixing abilities. So I'm looking forward to taking some of the things I learned tonight and being able to apply those. So Jeff, thank you very much for that. Thank you again.
Yes. Thank you for coming
Greg,
out.
I'm gonna bring you up on the big screen. Tell us about next week's show, bud.
Well, first of all, Jeff, thank you very much for coming out and doing that, Jeff. That was a great show. I appreciate that. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, our artist, we're going to have another artist. So for the next couple of weeks, we're going to have artists. I think it's 211 is our artist that's coming in next week. He's a DJ, but he's also an EDM, electronic dance music artist, who's going to elaborate basically on what Jeff said, but we're going to get his idea of making music, the software he used. We're going to pick his ear, and then after that, we're going to have I think it's DJ Millie Mill and his artist Quad, an R&B singer in the house, who's going to talk to us about the R&B side of that. And then who knows, maybe later in another week we'll have another hip hop guy on.
Well, and not only that, speaking of that, if those of you guys that are watching, if you have something that you'd like to share with this community, if you have you know, a skill, a talent, a software that you use instead, or anything at all like that you want to help share with this community, definitely reach out to us on the YouTube channel or at, you know, the Instagram handle or wherever, and let us know, and we'll get you on a future show, because we definitely have some more great folks coming up, and hey, we're doing a show every week, so we're hoping to have a guest every week. So you guys might be one of those guests, and we'd love to have you all. All right, before we go, Greg, I'm going to put you on the spot here. All right?
Yes, go ahead.
What happens if you're at an event and the power goes out and it's just you in the crowd?
Stop. I'm going to put you on the spot. You know what? And I know I bet you're wondering all about this. You saw this in the notes. Do you know with the notes I'm going to talk about right now?
I have no idea what this is. That's why I kind of pretended like neither one of us knew.
All right, here. So here, I want everybody to play along at home. And if you are at an event, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is scream to your crowd. All right. What you need to do is you need to tell everybody in the audience, Jeff, pay attention. I need your focus, sir. Are you ready? and you got to bear with me. So both Jeff and David, think of a number 2 through 9. Don't say what it is. Think of it in your head. Think of a number 2 through 9. You have that in your head?
I do.
Multiply that number by 9.
Oh, my God. Hold on. I got to get my phone out.
I know. It's crazy. This is why you have to pay attention, and I need your focus. But when you do this to a crowd of 300 people, it's pretty cool. But you have to tell them to keep quiet, and because I don't want to hear anything. Don't spoil it for the others. So a number 2 through 9 multiplied by 9, correct?
Got it.
All right, here's where it gets a little bit easy. You should have a 2-digit number, right?
Correct.
Add those 2 digits together and you'll get a number. Think of that number in your head and hold it there.
All right.
Add those 2 digits together and you have a number, okay? Everybody do that that's listening, okay? Now, you have that number in your head? You
Got
add
it.
2 digits together, you have a number, right? Let's subtract 5 from that number. Whatever number that you're thinking of, subtract 5, okay? Now, don't say anything. Don't spoil it. You're subtracting 5 from the number, okay? You have a number in your head that right? The answer?
Got it.
Don't say it. Correspond that number with a letter, and I'll help you out. 1 is A, 2 is B, 3 is C, 4 is D, 5 is E.
Got it.
You know what I mean? You got it?
Got it.
With that letter, think of a country that begins with that letter.
Okay.
Aha. At the end of that country, there is a letter. Think of an animal that corresponds to the letter at the end of that country. You got it?
Got it.
I see you getting it, David.
I
At
am.
the end of that animal, think of a color. There's a letter at the end of the animal that you're thinking of, the last letter. There is a color that corresponds with that letter. All right? So hold on. For those that are slow like Jeff in the house, I'm only messing with you, Jeff. All right? You had A, B, C, and D for your original. You picked a country from D, C, E, F, G, whatever it may be. You got your country. The last letter of the country, you're thinking of an animal. The last letter of the animal, you're thinking of a color. Are you ready? Big reveal.
Yeah.
We're all thinking about orange kangaroos from Denmark.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. Look
Did
at
it
this.
work? Did
That's
that
awesome.
work?
It worked.
Denmark, kangaroo, big earn. Thank you, sir.
Holy smokes.
Look, and I will only share it with everybody here because you've tuned in. Any number 2 through 9 multiplied by 9 equals a 2-digit number that adds up to 9. So no matter how you do it, if you think about it, go through the gamut. 2 through 9, multiply a number by 9. It's a 2-digit number. They all add up to 9. So when you subtract 5, everybody gets 4, which corresponds with D. D, there's only one real country, Denmark, that you can think of. I haven't had too many other people think of another country and give it to me at a show. They have given me koala bear and not kangaroo. I've gotten koala bear and not kangaroo. And at the end of kangaroo, orange is, I always get orange, nothing else. That's why it usually works.
That's cool,
that's
man.
my trick. Look, when you're stuck at a gig, the power goes out, everybody looks at you. Instead of, okay, everybody clap your hands and we're going to keep dancing to the hands clap. And we've done that. But it's just a way that while you're doing whatever you're doing or while your assistant's trying to get the power on, or it's just one of the many different things that you can entertain your crowd with. And you don't even have to be a DJ. You could be a singer. You could be, a comedian. You could be telling a joke before a speech, whatever it may be. It's just something fun to do. It's an entertaining thing to keep your crowd,
You will definitely have to send me the rundown of that. I'll put it in the show notes for us so people can have the rundown of how to do that, because I don't know if we could all keep up with all the steps, but if we have the steps, I think we could definitely execute it, man. That's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, I was thinking of, for future shows and things like that, I will create a special page on the DJ Entertainment School's website, and it'll be called for In the Queue podcast only. So anytime we discuss something, we have pictures, or we have something that we want to show the people after the fact, I'll put it up there so that this way it'll just, it'll be like a blog or whatever. Those posts will be up there for people to see. And that'll be one of the things. Maybe we'll start off with that. Okay.
Love it. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to wrap the show up. Thank you, everybody, for checking in with us this week. We appreciate you coming back. Again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. Please do that. We love that help. We love that assistance to keep this getting out there and letting people know about it. If you know some other DJs in the community, let them know about the show. We are live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next week, have a great week, you guys. If you need anything from us, please do reach out. We're here to help, and we love you guys to death. Thank you, Natural Aura. We appreciate you, brother.
Take care.
Thank you, everybody.